Good morning and welcome to my channel PawfectPastimes. My name's Amanda. My friends call me Amo and I live in Dorset in the southwest of England with my husband and my 3 dogs. Willow's just about a usual position over there, and the others are wandering in and out. How are you all? I've got a few things to go through with you all this week. So I hope you can get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, or if it's the evening, whatever you like really, and sit with me for a little bit of time, and I'll go through them all with you. Thank you so much for coming back. If you are subscribed and you've got the notification bell on, and if you're new here, welcome. Everybody's welcome. Please consider liking and subscribing. And I do answer comments, so always leave comments. And also, if everybody could like, hype and share, I'd be very, very grateful. Let's get my little channel out there. I'm doing quite well at doing weekly at the moment. I may go a little bit further out and maybe do every fortnight instead. It depends how much content I actually have for you. But at the moment, weekly's doing fine, and it's quite inspiring me. Spurring me on. It's inspiring me to actually get on and make things, which is not a bad thing. So it's been a lovely week. We've had couple of days of lovely sunshine. I've had washing outside. At the beginning, you will have seen I have put my onions and shallots out. I have sown some carrots out. My broad beans are now out. The carrots and the tomatoes in the greenhouse are doing well. They're about 12 inches high now. But then the weather has done a turnaround. It is really, really cold. And I've put fleece over my beans and things out there. And we are due a fair bit of rain in about an hour. Clarice is in the way. Yeah, we're due a fair bit of rain in about an hour's time. So I thought I'd get this over and done, so that I can get on with the editing part of it whilst it's raining. So let's get on with this week. I have a little bit of knitting news and some new purchases that have come in, which is really quite exciting. And I will get to them towards the end. No sewing this week and no painting this week, I'm sorry to say. I will get back into it. I didn't force myself into promising I'd do it every day or weekly or anything like that. I'm going to do the nature journaling as and when it takes me. So I didn't put myself under pressure for that. So I feel some pictures coming up in my inner id. So there may be some painting next week, who knows. Anyway, I am wearing my Friday slipover, which is a petite knit. I did this in the panache yarn, which is now discontinued, but it's a lovely layering piece this time of the year. And I'm also wearing my finished object for this week, and it is my Kinross cowl by We County Yarns, which was one of my advents from 2025, and I am very, very pleased to get this one off the needles. I only did the one repeat of the patterns and it's come out the perfect length. I don't like gappy cowls. If it's going to be a cowl, it's going to stay up on its own. I get earache if I get cold under my ears. So I do like a cowl that is fairly snug. I mean, it's not strangling me or anything. But it is double thickness and it is a tube. So I will now take it off and put myself back together again and show you it better. Okay, so I knitted this in one long tube. I think there is a marker somewhere. there's the tiny little marker where I was up to last time. I'd done up to here and I finished on the pink. So the past week I have done that much, and it was then kitchenette stitched together along this seam here. I can now take this marker off, or I will probably forget it's there because it's tiny and be wearing it with the, with the cowl forevermore. So I only did one repeat of all 24 days of the stitch pattern. It started with the green there. So there's a day, there's another day, and there's a day. And then you can see that that was green and the blue green, and then the green and the grey colour, and then the grey and the browns, and then the browns and the porridge colour, and it went on. And I only did one pattern repeat per day, but I didn't sadly get it finished for Advent, but I'm okay with that. I'm really pleased with these patterns, and I will pop a picture in now of my float so that you can see them, because now it is a tube and it's been Kitchener stitched together. You can't see the inside, so there were no ends to sew in. I just tied them off, and they're all on the inside nicely. I haven't blocked it, I haven't washed it yet. I will give it a light rinse through, but because it's double layer and colour work, it will take a bit of drying, I think. So I'm going to wait till summer or spring decides to turn up again, and I will give it then. To be fair, it doesn't really seem as though it needs a block, but I know the stitches will neaten up quite a lot once it's been blocked. I certainly don't need it any longer. You saw how it sits nicely around my neck. So I am over the moon to have that Kinross cowl by Wee County Yarns finished. I contemplate doing it again if they did a pattern. The patterns are fairly similar each year, but the yarn is a pure Shetland lamb's wool, and I did the muted natural colours, and there they are. I think I went through them all last week, and that one is my favourite actually, which is the Scots pine colour. It was beautiful. If I had to knit a sweater again in this yarn, I'd choose that colour, I think. Hope you can see that. So now I can find my Harold Fatmas pattern, which is in my folder of things to make over there, and bag it up with these, and then I can sit and work out how I want to make my Harold Fatmas. I've got plenty of yarn there, I think, to make him. But this is a Scots lamb's wool, and it's incredibly soft, and I think if I do wash it, it will come up even softer. I'm really quite surprised. I have a few commercially made lamb's wools garments, and they're quite itchy. This is not itchy in any shape or form. So I'm over the moon how beautiful soft this is. So if you're considering doing an Advent, perhaps look at Wee County Yarns and see what they're going to do. It's a nice project that comes with the yarn. It's not just here's the yarn, do what you like with it, which I really, really, really enjoyed doing. I'm trying to de-stash everything so I don't need 24 skeins of yarn with no fixed abode, should we say. That is my finish for this week. I have managed to move on with my Calliope. As you can see, I bound off last night on the rib, which is a nice deep rib. It's about 4 or 5 inches long, and I'm about to pick up the sleeves. This is the one that I thought I was going to need to do the darker end sleeves. I may still do that because I like the idea of it. I have knit this with the yarn I bought at Yarn for the Soul, and I have used one skein up. I still have this skein, and there's 54 grams still in this skein. I've held it with Kid Silk Haze, and I've made it on 4.5mm needles. So for my size 41 chest, I think it should come out at about a 43, 44. I've only used a skein and not even a half yet, and I've done all the body, which bodes well for future purchases, I think. So I'm going to start both the sleeves. I'm going to take them down to where the cuffs start, and I may try and do one in the Thor held with the Kids Silk Haze and see how I find it looks. I wanted to do something quirky with it. I think either way I'm going to be left with a skein, whether it's the Seascape or it's the Thor, Pixie Yarns Thor, or the Yarn for the Soul Seascape. I don't know, but I've got 54 grams still left. So I'm going to do the sleeves at the same time. I'll keep an eye on the weights of my yarn. I'll get down to where the cuffs start, which is just below elbow. I've told you before, the Calliope has very long cuffs, which is what I wanted to see if the skeins were going to run out. I'm pleased that I can get a sweater if I hold it double, so it's just over a DK with a 4.5 held with the floof. I'm pleased that I can get a sweater. I could do a short arm sweater in 2 skeins. I'm over the moon with that. So I'll take note of that, because when I did this before, it was out of an advent, so I didn't really get a picture of how much yarn it would take. So later on, when the golf's on, I'm going to pick up the sleeves and work down those and see how far I get with that. The other thing I was working on, oh, what else I did when I joined the second skein, which was about here, I did about 8-10 rounds of helical knitting with the 2 skeins, just swapping out which one was going with the Kids Silk Haze, so that I didn't get any kind of a stripe, and it's blended in beautifully. There's no hiccup there where there's my marker where I was last time I spoke to you last week. Yeah, there's no line where the new skein has come in, so that worked really well. And the Kids Silk Haze is blending in beautifully as well. The collar sits quite low. It will need a gentle blocking. Again, the collar is a big proper 2x, well, it starts as a 2x2 rib and it ends up a 2x3 rib. A nice big yoke there. So that adds a little bit of length too as it relaxes. I have done this pattern before, so I know what's going to happen. I was very careful. I'm about an inch shorter than I'd like on the length, because I know when this is blocked it will relax and it will come down that inch. So back to the other thing I was working on, which is my Baron Duin slipover, which I am making in the Swedish yarn Svarta Faret Ulrika Nature in the Loden or Linden colourway. I have gone down the back. I just picked up the back and cast on the back last time I saw you. Clarice was wearing her then. There is the front, and that is how far I've gone down the back now. I haven't put this on Clarice because I have to pin, and as I said, she is an old lady. She's about 100 years old, and I don't like pinning into the linen cover if I can help it, because it's quite fragile. So hopefully next time, or maybe next time, I may have this down enough that I'll have done the sleeves and I'll just have to pick up the back. I'm aiming to have it finished soon because I do like wearing a slip over. But if you want to know more about the Baron Duin, please go back a video or two, and I do mention it a few times in there because it's my current progress. But it's knitting up beautifully. I'm enjoying the little bit of cables and the lobster claw cables. So that marker there is where it goes over the sleeve. So I know I've got about 34 of the lobster claws to do. They're upside down on the back, but that's fine. It's just such an interesting construction. Bottom up from the front and then top down from the back. Oh, I must mention Marilo Knitting, Marie Louise. Thank you for confirming that this Swedish yarn does soften and bloom a little on washing. I'll put Marilo knitting link down below if you'd like to go and give her a link. She does her Blanket Fridays in English. Or if you're fluent in Swedish, you can watch the rest of her videos too, or put your closed captions on. So yes, it's not a rough yarn. It's slightly rustic when you feel it in the ball, but it's softening up as I'm using it. So I think when this is washed, it's going to come out beautiful. So that's my 2 garments on the go. My sock tube I focused on since I finished the cowl. This is in, I remembered this time, this is in the Sock Club minis from Blue Fern Yarns, and this is the Hecate set from September. I think it's the September set. And I did a cuff, and I have just kept knitting. For a tube, I need about, on my feet, I am a UK size 8 or a 42. I need about 300 rounds. And I am 100, 250, that's 250 marker there. So I need another 50 rounds, and that should just about use up the last of my 50-gram ball, sock ball. And I will then put on a cuff in the green, and I will be able to cut it, put the toes and heels in for that sock set. And I'm not sure if I should leave enough in case I want to do heels in this once I've done the toes in the green. I've not actually used a sock set before. I've used a sock yarn, 100 grams of doing a few tubes. But a sock set where it's 50 grams and 20 grams is a new one for me. So hopefully I'll have enough. I should do, otherwise it wouldn't be sold as a sock set. And I'm about 40 rounds short of finishing that anyway. But I'll finish when I've done that. If it doesn't work, and I can always pull back. But it should do. I do like a slightly longer leg sock to go into my boots. So that is my intention to finish my small project, is that sock yarn with the Hecate. Last week I spoke to you about 2 patterns that I'd like to go on with. I picked them out of my patterns that I had bought, and if I've bought the pattern, I'm going to make it. I'm not going to waste money on buying a pattern and let it sit in the cupboard without a plan. I have quite a few I want to get through. People keep having sales of their patterns, and I've got a few in my wish list in Ravelry, so I buy them. Anyway, this is 2 patterns by Wool and Pine. The Cloud Break came out last month in March, so I added it to my little bundle. They were doing a 4 patterns for the price of 3, I think it was, or was it a discount? I can't remember now. Again, I will put the description in the box, but the Cloud Break's a new pattern for a DK t-shirt, and I was wondering which yarn to do. I did look at some hand-dyed, but my size always seems to fall into, well, not according to this one it doesn't, but I always seem to find I fall into the bracket, oh, I've got a hiccup, sorry, of just needing to go into that 3rd or 4th skein. I've not used a hand-dyed DK before, so I'm still finding my way with a hand-dyed DK. And from the yardages I can work out I would need about 3 1/4 skeins, which I find annoying because that bumps the price up of a simple tee quite considerably. I love using hand-dyed yarn, but I like using it quite economically. So with the Cloud Break, I thought I'd look at something else I've been seeing an awful lot of, and that is the Yarnsmiths Merino DK Heathers. Yarnsmiths is the Wool Warehouse own brand. They're doing them 100% merinos in a super wash, and they got loads and loads of colours in the plain, and they've got quite a selection in the heathers. And for the cloud break, I chose vintage denim, which is coming out a bit strange, but if I hold it close you can see the heathering, but that's the better colour. Vintage denim, it's got it's quite washed out, and the heathering is done with a pale green. It's very lovely. Shade H3650 in Yarnsmiths. So that is the colour I'm going to try with this cloud break tee, and I will work out the yardage for a merino with that, and that will perhaps give me more confidence in buying a beautiful hand knit DK in the future should I need to. And I'm very keen to try this yarn. I know a lot of people in a couple of the Discord groups I'm members of have used it, and they say it's wonderful. So I'm looking forward to giving that a go. The other pattern I bought in the block set I bought was the 3-season cardigan. I'm quite short on cardigans, and this is a worsted weight. It's slightly shorter than I'd normally wear, especially with jeans like I usually wear, but in the summer I tend to wear quite a few dresses. So I wanted to do this as a dress length, which is obviously on the hip, just above the hip. And cloud break is a lovely cable pattern. You know I love a cable more than colour work. I'll do colour cables always. I love cables. And now this is an Aran, and they do recommend a cotton or cotton mix in a worsted. And I have done a blend of cotton and wool, or a garment for a garment that is warm yet light. I find cotton on its own quite a strain usually. They're getting better though. So I have treated myself to this yarn by Malabrigo, and they class this as burgundy. This is the Malabrigo worsted, and it is 100% merino. 210 yards for the 100-gram skein, 18 stitches. So I'm going to this pattern doesn't actually give you a proper gauge unless you actually do a swatch in the pattern, which is quite wide. I'm usually pretty good on gauge, so I'm going to give it a go. If I don't like it, I can always take it back. But they class this as burgundy. Now, this is more burgundy to me. This is a very warm, rusty, beautiful colour. If I hold it next to what I class as a burgundy, you can definitely see the colour change, and it absolutely glows. It is so soft, it's beautiful. There is a false representation of the colour, but it does glow. It is lovely, but I wouldn't have classed that as burgundy. I would have classed that as a really, really warm rust, and it is gorgeous. I am over the moon with it, even if it isn't the colour I thought it was going to be. So I've had a delivery of the skeins for that, and I have them both here sitting next to me, and this one doesn't need balling up, it's in balls. This one does need balling up. And I'm a bit afraid that if I ball it up, I might cast on before I finish those two. But does it matter? No, doesn't matter. I can have 4 things on the go if I like, especially seeing as I'm very near finishing these. I'm quite good at saying I'll spend an hour on this one, spend an hour on the Baron Doohan, and then I'll spend an hour each on those in the evening. We usually have about 4 hours sitting, don't we, in the evening? So that will be a possibility. If I do it, don't be surprised to see them underway next week. I will be balling them up and put them in my project bag, which is just there. I have got some other things I want to get underway. But those are 2 summer projects. The t-shirt in the merino would be ideal for weather like we're having at the moment. And the cardigan would be ideal for putting over it because they go together quite nicely, I think. So don't be surprised if I go out of my comfort zone and do cast on 2 more garments. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell you if you think I'm bonkers. Tell me if you think I'm going to find my head itching because I've got too many things on, or tell me if you think I should just go for it. Okay, I think that is all I have talked about this week because I haven't done any sewing and I haven't any painting. Let me see. Yes, I've looked through my list and I've covered everything. I will be looking at doing some summer socks, I think. So I went through my sock drawer the other day to see what I have for the summer, and one pair of my shorties that I wear with my little white trainers are worn out. My other pair, the pom-poms come off the back, so I'm going to find my pattern with the shorties that have the bulb at the back, you know, the bulge along the back seam, which stops it going into the shoe. And once I've done the tube socks and they're off the needles, I will be casting on some shorties. I really need some shorties. Also, what I had coming in this week was a pre-order from Lana magazine, and it's The Island in the Forest by Lotte Lochgren and Erica Oberg. It's been published by Lana. Dog hairs on it already. And I saw the pre-order for this a few weeks ago and the patterns in it were very much speaking to me. I don't think there's a page in here where you can see all the patterns together. It's about 2 knitters and how they started talking to each other, and it includes excerpts of their letters, and they decided to do the pattern book. So there is one of the hats, and as I pre-ordered I also got another hat pattern. I have from Garthner Organics some beautiful yarn that I picked up when I went to visit them, and I think hats like this would be ideal for using that yarn. That sweater is one of the sweaters too. That sweater is the Muln, and it comes in long sleeve and short sleeve, but I absolutely love the look of that. There's a slip over. It's a steeked slip over, so it may be something that I could cut my teeth in. I haven't steeked a garment before. I'd have to choose a proper yarn. Now that's the sort of thing I'd love to use Helen from Nellie and Eve's yarn for, I think. So I may treat myself. I have a big birthday this year. I'm going to be 60. So I've never celebrated my birthdays. They just pass, and I never know what to ask for. I just try and let them pass by, but I have a 60th birthday this year. So I may ask John if I can have a voucher for somewhere like Nellie and Eve, where I could get the yarns for this beautiful sweater. because I think Helen's yarns would look absolutely superb in that. They go through their letters in the seasons. There's a nice little yoked colour work, and show it in 2 options. Beautiful shawl. I think from reading How I Could, it's something you could use leftovers for, which would be lovely. Some mittens, colour work mittens. Just see if I can find what else. A nice cardigan. What else caught my eye? Again, some more mittens. I'm not aware of mittens. It doesn't really get cold enough here, and I'm forever pulling them on enough to use my phone or to film or sort the dogs out. So I prefer the fingerless, like the Prince Edward mittens I made earlier in the year, to go to Iceland with. Those are beautiful. Look at the detail on the bottom there. Love that. If you're a neutrals wear, and then gorgeous waistcoat. Again, some nice earthy yarn in natural colours. And socks. And I did find out this has been bound, Swedish bound. So when you open it, it comes away there. But that means when you open it, it lays flat, which is brilliant when you want to work from a pattern or want to print the pattern. So if you go and order this and it opens funnily, don't worry about it. But they were such beautiful patterns. If you go on the Lana website, you can see the patterns and the photographs in better than I can show you here. So that's everything that's come in. 2 lots of yarn, a book, a finish, what I'm wearing, I've done that, what I'm going to be working on. Tell me what you think I should do with the cast-ons. I know most of you will say, oh, get on with it, you silly woman, but we'll see. I've got a afternoon of editing ahead of me. I may start working on the last few rounds of that sock. I think I might light the fire because it's a bit chilly. This evening, of course, it's the Masters. Well done, Rory. Come on, Rory. And I'm hoping the weather, I can see a huge strip of blue sky. In front of me, the fields are all oilseed rape, so they're bright yellow at the moment. And now I've got a huge strip of blue sky. It is freezing cold, and it's contrasting with the yellow quite well. So please don't forget, like, subscribe, hype, share, whatever you can to get me moving again on subscribers. I'm very grateful. Nearly half of you do watch this and don't subscribe, so I'm a bit sad about that. It doesn't cost you anything. I don't plague you with millions of shorts of things you've already seen or anything like that. So do consider subscribing, at least like, and then YouTube knows that you like my content, and it'll show you more of similar content and show them I'm liked and show me to other people. So that I'd be very grateful. So have a lovely weekend and a week ahead, and stay safe, stay creative, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye.